Okay, I'm going to do one of the most requested video types of all time. How to attack turtlebacks. Now, the other most popular question I get is, where do I find rocks? Right? And how do I thin down a thin piece? But I'm not going to do those. I'm going to do the third most requested. How do I get rid of turtlebacks? Or how do I nab something with a turtleback? Well, I'm going to start with this piece here. This is pretty bad. I'm trying to get a biface out of this one, right? This is like a turtleback in every possible way. So I'm just going to test it with my little cut-off ball peen hammer that I got at a thrift store. Pretty sure that's where I got this. Okay, let's start this here. So the quality is okay, but it's got a lot of imperfections. But as far as the non-messed up areas, the quality of the chert is pretty good. It has some issues for sure. I might not be able to nap this one. And disclaimer, this might not work on every piece that I try. This may not be solid. Now, why am I not using a hammerstone? Because I don't want to. Short answer. This one is really nasty. Those inclusions haven't seen the light of day for millions of years. Okay, let's see if we can get something out of it. That's possible. So is that a turtleback right now? Yep, sure is. But I'm not going to worry about that yet. I want to clear off I want to try to clear this mess off first. Now, you might be asking, I'm having trouble with turtlebacks. Is it because I'm not using a hammer? No. I'm using the hammer because it's quick. And this is what I do out in the field. If I'm out looking for rocks, I bring this with me instead of a hammerstone. If I drop this, I can easily see that it's not part of nature. But a hammerstone, sometimes I drop it and lose them. Yes, it does happen. I think that's happened to me once. Yep, nasty, nasty. But anyway, I think you saw where I was going with that one. So let's try this other piece here that looks like it's from another planet, the planet of miserable rock. Let's see. This area looks okay, so I could try to preserve that, right? So let's just consider this mountain range on top of here the turtleback. Let's try to get rid of it. Might say you get better results with a hammerstone. Yeah, I know. This is miserable rock, though. Why would I damage my perfectly innocent, minding its own business hammerstone on a rock like this? I treat my tools with more sympathy than that. Hammerstone didn't do anything bad to me. So that's a turtleback, right? I mean, you can consider that a turtleback. You can attack it just by hitting a low platform close to the peak, and boom. So the lesson here, in case you didn't notice, is hit hard and what? Fast. Hit hard and fast. If you're hitting soft and slow, you're not going to make it. It's not going to work unless you're working with obsidian. Totally different ball game. With stuff like this, hit hard and fast. It'll work with obsidian too, but you might get several blow-ups before you adjust it to just the right speed. Alright, so let's try to refine this down. And these speeds are subjective, right? So what I consider fast and hard may not be what you think is fast and hard. You might think that you need to attach a rocket booster onto your billet in order to hit. No, you don't need to hit that fast and hard. Okay? Just use your handyman's judgment. And if you're not a handyman, you're trying to do stuff like this, you should probably get some handyman skills while you're trying to do this. You know, like figuring out how to use a hammer precisely. Setting up a work area so that all these flakes can be captured and stuff. Are not going to be interfering with anything or getting in people's way, or you know, pose a hazard. All right, so there's a little turtleback, right? Kind of, sort of. See if we can flatten this down. Even though it's not a very good piece, it's got cracks and stuff in it. Like that might be an issue right there. All right, so let's see. And in case you're wondering, I snipped off the pinky finger here so I can adjust the focus on the camera and operate the camera while I got my gloves on. Okay. And the camera is my phone, for those of you just tuning in. So that's how, you know, you can stop the video now. That's how you remove a turtleback. It just pops right off. And how was that done, boys and girls? What was the secret? This is going to be boring and very irritating, but it sinks in if I do it this way. Hit hard and, if I can spell it, fast. Hit hard and, that's a little and sign, fast. See, if I switch from the viewfinder to my regular vision, I get little mistakes like this. All right. That's how I pop that turtleback off. Hitting hard and fast. It may not look like it, but relatively speaking. And from there on in, this is a reusable biface. And I just showed a bunch of bifaces in my last video. So how did they get those bifaces to look the way they did? Well, they apparently started with a nodule like I did, knocked off the turtleback, and then did a few more strikes with a billet or a hammerstone or something to get it refined into a biface. Now I'm going to try to get rid of most of this cortex and stuff and try to make it look like one of the bifaces in my collection. See, that's hard and fast. because it's a thick area. Right? It may have been a little bit too hard because I see some shattering. But this is aluminum, right? It's not as harsh as steel or copper. So I should be okay. I mean, it's not a guarantee, but that crack probably doesn't go too far in. Another relatively hard and fast hit. And that does happen on the bifaces that I was showing. And it's because I'm hitting slightly above center, trying to take off a lot of mass. So it doesn't work that well. How about this one right here? This is probably right at center line, right? So let's try this. Give myself a little bit of a shelf there, a little bit of a shelf to catch. See how it works. Yeah, well, I caught the shelf, but it wasn't enough to get rid of that. So that's a fail right there because it's a little bit too narrow now. Is there a way to prevent that from happening? Could I have done better? Maybe. If I wasn't talking, maybe. Yeah, with indirect percussion, I could probably do it. That's my cure-all for everything. Let's see, how much time do we have? Oh, we still got some time, so let's try it. This rock feels funny, but it's raw, so it's to be expected. There's going to be areas that are very rough, not consistent, kind of concrete-ish, and some good areas. Sometimes I try to create a platform on a good area and try to run a flake from a good area, hoping that the rest of it's good, but it'll hit a bad area and then it'll do some weird stuff where it won't go. But it's always best to hit from a good area anyway, even if it doesn't go because the bad area is just too tough. Don't try to hit from a bad area thinking bad area platform for bad area. No. Always try to find a good area to strike from, as a rule of thumb. And if you can't get it to work in that way, then the whole rock is probably going to give you trouble. So it wouldn't be worth it anyway. Yeah, the joys of raw stone. This is a nice turtleback, right? Nice thick area for demonstration purposes. You just have to be very aggressive with those areas. Maybe not that aggressive, but I think you get my meaning. Very hard and fast. Especially with raw stone. Alright, so it's a biface. Just an oops at the tip. I could make a small point, but I'll heat it first. Okay. Let's try another nasty one. I've got a video called Knapping Gnarly Nodules. It's similar to this one. Should have probably announced that in the beginning. Maybe I'll put a link to it in the description. We'll see. This is all raw stone, by the way, so far. I'm going to be knapping some heat-treated ones too. I got a couple heat-treated pieces. Now, what am I looking for? Just a good area to hit that I can start thinning, knocking off big chunks. It doesn't always work, of course, because we have junk in there in the stone that prevents good flake travel. And I drop it just as you were looking to see the angle that I created. Now you're all messed up. Okay, so I struck here, knocked that off. So now I have this platform here, or this area that I can use to send in flakes this way. It's a little bit too sharp of an angle, a little bit too pointy. This is a little bit better. I'm going to hit right here. Sometimes a perfect hit does nothing, right? So you gotta just try it again. Kind of, sort of okay. All right. So I'm hitting hard and fast. It didn't work for whatever reason. I'm not sure why. So let's continue to attack that turtleback in some way. I'm just going to take back this edge and then try to hit this again. Now I hit right here, hoping that would knock off the turtleback, but it's a reverse. I call this a reverse flake removal, where the piece that you retain is smaller than the waste piece. You know what I'm saying? This is the detached piece here, but it's larger than the objective piece. So it's in reverse. So that's a little bit of a mistake there, obviously. Now, can I nap this turtleback into something? I mean, this is the turtleback, right? For you archaeologists out there, these kind of flakes blow your mind probably. It is reverse. It's a reverse flake. Yep, it's a reverse flake. See, the bulb of percussion is on this detached piece, but the detached piece is larger than the objective piece. Usually, it's the other way around. Okay. How can we get this flat and maybe make something out of it? You gotta pay attention because this is going to come at you fast. I really prefer not to think about it. Oops. Am I even trying to preserve width and length? Yes, I am. There's issues with the stone though, so sometimes I don't have much choice. So that is a turtleback, right? There's another one here. So like I said, this is going to come at you fast. So you got to pay attention to what I'm doing. I'm not going to be explaining every single little aspect. because it's very difficult to actually complete the task and explain it at the same time. Especially at a high risk. This is a high risk skill, right? It's not like other skills where you can explain what you're doing and accomplish the task with a high degree of certainty. In this type of task, explaining it actually interferes with the success of it. So you just got to pay attention, I guess. Pay attention to the physical and not the words. All right, I think that's a successfully thinned down little biface. Hopefully that didn't come at you too fast. All right, one more piece of raw stone. Try to get a biface out of this. Yeah, I do have artifacts made of this particular stone. Yep. All right, so sometimes it's hard to decide. I could hit this with the hammer, but I'm just going to continue with this aluminum billet. I'm hitting it. I'm hitting perfect hits and nothing's happening. So don't feel bad if what you're doing is not working. That could have sent in what they call, oh gosh, I can't remember the terminology anymore. Incipient cracks. There could be cracks in there. I just messed it up, but maybe not. Let me see. I probably should have used the hammer. Hindsight is 20/20. This particular stone does not want to initiate. Does not want to initiate the flakes unless they're very small. So, and it's a really clunky thick piece. How would I go about doing this? Let's see. I would just bypass the whole process, right? Just crack it like that. And that's how I got rid of the turtleback. By hitting and removing the detached piece. And that's what I would use for my biface. And the objective piece is your turtleback. It's, again, a reversal. Usually the turtleback is the detached piece, but in this case it's the objective piece. And your biface blank is the detached piece. Okay, archaeologists use that terminology. Objective piece is the piece you are keeping, and in theory the detached piece is the waste or the debitage. But in this case I said, you know what, instead of trying to thin down by blowing off the turtleback this way, thin down by blowing off the biface blank or the spall for the biface in the other direction. Okay, I hit 2 times a little bit high. It still would have split, but the third time was a little bit lower. And you know, that's instinctive. Lower would detach easier, and it looked like it worked. So I would just not use this piece unless I want to take our little flakes all the way around, little short flakes or something, or maybe use it as a little glue pot or something, you know, because that's a very nice bulb of percussion. I can use it for holding something. That's my story. That's my excuse maybe for holding on to something like this. But of course it can be napped. Anyway, let's see what happened here. Did I mess it up with incipient cracks? I probably did, right? That's not too bad, right? I can get rid of that. Yeah. I have a video on removing bowls of percussion. So this is basically what you do. You just zigzag it, attack it from the sides and so forth. Okay, well, are you paying attention? Good. All right. This is a heat treated piece, and I already spalled it ahead of time, right? Then I heat treated the spall. Now it's time to remove the turtleback. So which place would I do it to preserve the most width and having the most success? I'll come down this ridge here. See how that works. Did not work. Perfect platform doesn't work for me anyway. So it could be because I'm usually working pretty bad platforms. So I don't know. I don't know if I'm used to working bad platforms or what, but the good platforms don't seem to work all that well for me anyway. Okay. Better? I can make something out of that too. Let's see. Let's get something better going here. Yep, went across the top of that turtleback. Now this is much easier to do on a heat-treated piece to run long flakes. Now sometimes you're not going to be able to heat treat a large spall like this because it'll break up, you know. But with this particular stone, this chert, it's very forgiving. Usually does not break up. So you were paying attention, right? Okay. It's pretty flat now. Let's see, what else can I do? "28 minutes. I don't have much time. So I got rid of the turtlebacks for the most part. Much easier to do on high quality stone. Okay. And last but not least, we have a big old bump on this one. Okay. There you go. It's off. No more big old bump. too bad you can't rewind it and look at it again, huh? Oh wait, it's a video. Okay, I'll stop being a smart aleck. This edge is interesting, right? I'm tempted to hit it to thin it down, but I don't know if I should. It's better to zigzag it and do the traditional, well, what I consider my traditional method, but I'm just so tempted to hit that edge, a little rounded edge, to see what happens. Nice. Yeah, just barely tapped it. It's very nice material. I don't want to mess with it. Yeah, I've already taken off a lot from the removal of that bump. Okay, hopefully that answered some questions. You can rewind it as many times as you want and look it over. Any more questions, and I'll do some more if you want. Okay, that's it.